You know what I'm about to say. What is up, everybody? And welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Meat on the 50. It is our review episode where we are going to break down the action that we saw last week. So, without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Meat on the 50, another edition. We are back to review the action that we saw last week, right? NFL Week 11 is behind us. We are going to review it. And as always, by my side to break down the action, one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It was a good week of football, and actually the morning window was actually a little bit better than I thought it would be. I was honestly contemplating on whether or not I was going to pay attention, but I ended up watching, and some of those games were a lot better and a different outcome than I thought they'd be. So it was an interesting week of football.
Yeah, definitely an interesting week. Those morning games were definitely better than we initially thought they were going to be, right? We said, they look bad on paper. Hopefully they're good in person. They were a lot better in person, so that's good. So that was nice to see. It wasn't total waste of a weekend. We saw some great action, and we saw some dominating performances that we are definitely going to talk about. But first, let's review. Let's put it up on the screen. Domination, just utter domination. For yourself, 10-4, 1-0 on the guaranteed victory. For myself, 10-4, and I forgot to say who my guaranteed victory was last week. I was too excited talking about them, and of course, I wanted to surprise you because it was the Niners, baby. The Niners were my guaranteed victory last week, and boy, oh boy, did they not let me down. It's my show, so I'm going to give it to myself. 1-0 on the guaranteed victory, all right? We are rolling on. Let's put overall for the season. That puts us at, for yourself, 92, 71, and 1, 8-3 on the guaranteed victories. For myself, 96, 63, and 1, 8, 2, and 1 on the guaranteed victories. We're back. We're back to just utter dominating the season. And I'll be honest, you love to see it. You love to see it because we love to see it. But wipe those off the screen because we got some action to talk about, and give it to me. Give me some instant reaction to the utter whooping domination we saw south of the border in Mexico City. And boy, oh boy, were there a lot of Niner fans. I mean, the Niners, I think, are the team of Mexico. So give me your reaction to what we saw last night.
It honestly seems like the Niners are like the team anywhere I go, or every time I see it. Just seems like there's Niner fans everywhere. And, people aren't going to tell me, oh, the people in the Bay Area. We do travel well. I've been to 2 away games the last couple of years. But, it was crazy to see, they said estimated 82% in attendance were 49ers fans.
Yep.
People love the Niners, man. And I think a big part of it is George Kittle. He's a top selling jersey over there.
Yeah.
He's really good friends with one of the famous wrestlers over there. That's where he got his little thing. But his kind of little celebration that he does every time he gets the first down. He did it after the touchdowns. Forgot what the guy's name. He's really famous though, and they showed videos of them hanging out before the game. So I thought that was cool. I know our guy Frederico Warner is part Hispanic, and so he was representing his heritage by bringing out the flag. I thought that was cool. Me, I love some Fred Warner. But it's just an awesome game, just an awesome experience watching the fans all sing the anthem. I love that. It's kind of touches your heart a little bit. You got 100,000 people all singing. They're all united at that moment in time, and just a super cool stadium.
Yep.
And just a really cool, just a really cool vibe. It's cool. I had no idea the altitude was even higher than Denver. So no wonder the 49ers were practicing in Colorado Springs.
Yep.
Because to get that elevate, they were right over your shoulder. And when we were driving, I know exactly where they were because you pointed out where that Air Force, the whole practice place is. So I knew exactly where they were. And it was just good preparation for them to do that. because when you're going up and it's like 1.5 times the altitude that you normally are going to play on, there's going to be cramps. There's going to be people gassed. We saw, Charvarius Ward got some cramps. Deebo got some cramps. But all in all, I mean, didn't slow Deebo down at all. He played extremely well. Everybody played well. I mean, the offensive line was incredible. Everybody blocked well. Trent Williams, obviously, best left tackle in the league, just going out and just bulldozing people on the left side of the field. Christian McCaffrey had some good catches, good runs. Like you said, you texted me earlier. I didn't even know, but he had 100 yards from scrimmage. Yep. He just does that. He does it quietly. And Brandon Ayuk with 2 touchdowns. Ayuk, George Kittle, player of the game. 2 huge touchdowns after the catch. Super excited for George to get involved in the offense. So Jimmy Garoppolo had a good game. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So, obviously Colt McCoy played, but Colt McCoy played last year too, and they beat us. So, at the end of the day, their offense has nothing to do with their defense. Like, their defense ran all over. 38 points. Kind of want to know some of your thoughts. What do you think? I mean, the Niners look really good.
Yeah, so, as a completed performance, as you will see by a team, and I hope all Niners fans really take this performance and really cherish it, because if you want to see your team play complete on all aspects of the ball, this was it, right? Brandon Ayuk coming out of that shell that he was so just heavily built up coming to the Niners. This was a guy under the radar. He could be the guy. He could be the weapon. Well, last night he was the guy. He was the weapon. And then he also threw the ball and hit that guy in the nuts. But that's okay. He immediately apologized, and everybody else apologized around him. But, Brandon Ayuk looked amazing. George Kittle, right? Finally. Hello. Do you guys remember you guys had George Kittle, right? That's what he does. That is exactly what he does. Get him the ball and just get the hell out of the way. So George Kittle making a huge impact last night. Deebo playing well, right? Christian McCaffrey having over 100 yards from scrimmage. That is a complete performance. That is what John Lynch designed this team around. We were just talking a little bit about it before the show, right? This team is not designed for Jimmy to do anything special. This team is designed for the weapons around him to be special. So that is exactly what they have to do in order to compete. But in my opinion, records aside, the Niners are the best team in the NFL. Best team. You put them up against any team, a neutral site, they're the best team in the NFL at the current moment, I believe. And it was just, okay, Colt McCoy, sure. But to have a complete performance on all sides of the ball, 7,000 feet in the air, to handle the altitude. So that is a complete team. So, Cliff Kingsbury gets out coached, continues to get out coached. I know he won last year, but continues to get out coached. And the Niners doing everything right. The Cardinals obviously want to be the Niners desperately. Like, they want to be the Niners so bad, and they just can't get there. The San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion, are now the team to beat. I know the Eagles. I know the Vikings. I know the Cowboys. You give me a neutral site, the San Francisco 49ers will beat them. I will put any dollar amount on that fact. So
4-0 in the division. 4-0 in the division, and now we're tied with Seattle. Obviously, we have the first spot because of our division record and our head-to-head matchup with them. Do you think we relinquish that first place spot, or do you think we hold on to it?
No, like I was saying last week, the NFC West is now a one-horse pony. It's just a one-horse pony race. San Francisco, these teams get tested. This was San Francisco's test right here, going to the mountains, going up into the sky, literally in the sky, 7,000 feet in the air. Both teams equally tested, right? They're both not used to the altitude. Who comes out on top? Who looks like the better team? The San Francisco 49ers. So, in my opinion, when the San Francisco 49ers have the opportunity to fold, 9 times out of 10, they do not. So I think that is why they are the leader of the division. They will continue to be the leader of the division, and I believe they will win this division. So records aside, the San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion, are the best team in the NFL. Both sides, AFC, NFC, best team in the NFL, and I think on any given Sunday, they can easily beat any team. Just like any team can beat any team, but I think the San Francisco 49ers are just better, just a slightly step above all these other teams. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season, but the San Francisco 49ers making a statement Monday in Mexico City. What a performance. Now, let's go all the way back to Thursday. Like you predicted, the Titans heading into Lambeau and taking care of business. Now, just some thoughts on the Titans turnaround, and do you think they have enough to get over the hill in the AFC and reach the Super Bowl?
It's a tricky question, just because it all comes down to, is Ryan Tannehill going to throw the game away, or is he? I mean, I think they have enough, but is the question, will they? And that's that. I mean, I think that, I picked them over Green Bay. I mean, I thought that, obviously, having Derrick Henry and their defense is excellent. I think that they have enough just because of their defense and because of some of the weapons they have. I mean, obviously losing A.J. Brown isn't helpful, but I can't see them getting past the Chiefs. I think that that's their kryptonite. That's the problem. I think that they're going to run into the Chiefs at some point. If they don't run into the Chiefs, sure. But if they have to run into the Chiefs, I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, so the Titans, I'm kind of on board with you. And I think, some of these teams, it really all depends on the quarterback, right? We talk about the Vikings, we talk about Dallas, right? We talk about, now we're talking about the Titans, right? It really all depends, because Derrick Henry is always going to be great. He's always going to do what he's going to do. He will easily go out there and get you a 100-yard performance, no problem. Robert Woods is still a very solid receiver, very solid option. So he will always get you yardage and catches and things like that. So yeah, it really comes down to that Titan defense and Ryan Tannehill. Can they put it together? Can they hold it together? I'm kind of with you. I obviously want them to get over the hill and would love to see them there, but do I think they have enough at this current moment? No, I don't. So I think, the Titans eventually will fold in the playoffs. I do think they get obviously past the wild card round because they're going to win their division, because that division is absolute doo-doo. But Titans, we'll see what happens going forward. Obviously, Derrick Henry really is the X factor, and then Ryan Tannehill is going to be that underlining factor, though. That is he going to be the one that loses the game? He was the one who lost in the game last year against the Bengals. So we'll see what happens this year with the Titans, right? Let's turn to Sunday morning. Some of the action that we saw early, right? The Bears dropping their fourth consecutive game. The Bears, man. The Bears, right? The Bills handling business and getting your guaranteed victory and bouncing back at home. Big victory after dropping a game at home the week prior. So Bills hanging tough in the AFC East. Patriots getting that win over the Jets. Really nothing new there. However, on a walk-off punt return, Jets, I guess, are always going to be the Jets, right? Philly looking shaky at home against a Jeff Saturday-led Indianapolis Colts. I guess he was the secret the entire time, right? So we'll see what happens with the Colts the rest of the season. Maybe they'll be competitive. Maybe they'll make things interesting. But Philly looking shaky, a little bit shaky there at home. So we'll see what happens with Philly the rest of the season. Rams, I'm proud to say, happy to say, not going to make the playoffs. I can clearly say it now.
We both love that.
Yeah, week 11, Rams, Los Angeles Rams, baby, not
making the playoffs.
The playoffs.
The team that eliminated both of our teams and took both of our dreams away from us.
Yep, not making the playoffs. And guess what? Both of our teams rolling along, right? So Lions win their third consecutive game. The Lions win their third consecutive game, baby. Detroit, Motor City, baby. Let's go. Ravens in a stinker over the Panthers. But I'm excited to announce. You ready for this one? I want everybody to welcome back the Houston Dumpster Fire Texans. Yes, in the Dumpster Fire Bowl, the Washington Commanders prevailed, thus bestowing the monocle Dumpster Fire back to the Texans. Unprecedented. Never has happened in the history of Meat on the 50, but there's a first time for everything. Give me some thoughts on the morning games. Give me some thoughts on what we saw.
Well, to start, I mean, Houston Dumpster Fire Texans, it just sounds right. It just sounds right. The Commanders, it didn't really... It just sounds right, man, and they are complete dumpster fire. So it's just they're the worst team in the league. So before it was the Lions woke up. They heard me. Good for them. Big win for them on the road in New York, 31-18. Big win, a dominant win. Proud of that team, man, because, we saw Hard Knocks. We saw everything that they've gone through. We saw that there were some games that they kind of just let slip through their fingertips.
Yeah.
And for them to win 3 straight, that is awesome. I'm just, the city of Detroit has just, with the sports teams and just everything that it's been through with all the, just through the decades and the years of automobile industry leaving, all the abandoned companies, all the Lions have had the worst luck. It's just kind of cool to see a city like that gets some good luck. So rooting for the Lions. I could never, ever root against the Detroit Lions. I just can't. They're just that one team that it's just like they've been beat up so many times that it's just like, how can you root against them? But so that was super cool. I thought Buffalo would I thought they'd bounce back at home. It was weird. They were playing in Detroit, but there was a lot of Buffalo Bills fans there, so they must travel pretty well. And not necessarily surprised by Philadelphia. I thought that they kind of got exposed last week a little bit, and they narrowly edged out Indianapolis. Indianapolis just choked at the end there. I mean, it just, bottom line is you gave up a touchdown. You were up 16-10. All you needed was a first down. You screwed that up. But the one game that I was like, holy crap, was the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. Just a tie game down to the very end, 3-3, just so boring. But just a kickoff return. It's just like, as a Jets fan at this point, you got to be thinking in your head, like, the same way I felt with Seattle, we're never beating this team. And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, but I will tell you this. Zach Wilson's been playing really, really bad the last couple of weeks. And he's got to turn that around if the New York Jets want to make the playoffs, because that's an extremely competitive conference in general. Like, there's a lot of teams that are going to go. The Ravens are probably going to go. You guys are most likely going to go. And then the Patriots could go. There's just, I could name probably, 10 teams that I think are likely to go to the playoffs, and only 7 of them can go. So they got to clean that up. Zach Wilson's got to play better. You can't only put up 3 points. Same goes for Mac Jones, but at the end of the day, Mac Jones didn't play as bad as Zach. So, some really, really good games in the morning. I thought that, it was more entertaining than I thought it would be, for sure.
Moving on to our afternoon games, right? The Raided managed to do what they always do and beat the Donkeys. The Bengals finally get a win in the division, now 2-1 without Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase has returned to practice. Much needed. Joey B getting over 10,000 passing yards, third fastest to do it behind Mahomes and Herbert. Now heading into their toughest part of their schedule, but this is where they caught fire last season, so we'll see what happens. But they got some tough opponents coming up, starting with this week, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. Lastly, the Cowboys absolutely dominating the Minnesota Vikings at home, I should add, in Minnesota. Vikings a little exposed, or any given Sunday? Your thoughts on that and what we saw in the afternoon?
So what I'll start with is, good win for the Raiders. I picked them a lot of weeks in a row, and I was hesitant on this one, but I was able to roll with them. I just think the Broncos are a really bad team. I think that Nathaniel Hackett has to go. Like you said, he can't hack it. And he's just really bad, and he's just horrible. And so, Denver's defense is okay, but their offense is atrocious. And it's just absolutely ridiculous with the weapons that they have. They have some really good wide receivers. And so it's just, Russ has been playing bad. He's been cooking up microwave meals. So at the end of the day, he's just really bad. And honestly, to be honest with you, I don't even care that they lost. Like, their fans are weird. Yeah. And I have never liked Russell Wilson ever. So, I mean, why do I care that he's losing? He beat my team so many times already. He beat my team this year. I don't have to play them for 4 years. Thank you. I don't have to play him for 4 years. Yeah. I'm glad that he's not going to go to the playoffs. So good win for them. As far as Cincinnati getting that big win, that big divisional win, it's always tough when you're playing against a divisional opponent on the road. And they got it done. And without Ja'Marr Chase. So that's promising that he's coming back from his injury. They'll be even stronger. But Joey B looked good in that game. So give the Bengals credit. They came out and they got it done. And they are just a little bit behind the Ravens now. And they're in there, they're almost in the driver's seat. So they just got to win a couple more of those divisional games, and then boom, you get that. You get that home playoff game. Yep. So that's important. I think it's so important to get that, to win that division. So, but going to Dallas and Minnesota, I think it does have to do with any given Sunday for sure. You're looking at, nobody would have anticipated a 40-3 win. I think that sometimes you just have a really, really bad game. I don't think this reflects who the team is. I always have had my question marks and my reserves about Kirk Cousins. I think that his lack of leadership and play in this game kind of didn't even allow them to even have a chance. So we know what the Vikings are like when Kirk Cousins is playing well, and we know what they're like when he plays bad. And I've always said it, and we both agree that they're going to go as far as Kirk Cousins will take them.
Yep.
It's not a good look because it was at home, but I don't expect this to happen next week. I don't expect them to get blown out like this again this season. I just think that sometimes, like you told me when we were in Denver watching that 49ers game, and I was so upset that we lost 11-10, and you hear everybody celebrating like they won the Super Bowl, and I was so frustrated. You just said, sometimes teams just have really bad games, or they just have bad games. That's what I think happened in Minnesota. So if this happens again, then I think we can kind of revisit that question. But I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. But all I got to say is it can't happen. Like, something like this cannot happen again. So you got to stay in that race for that number 1 seed. You don't want to lose this again. And then, you're battling with other, people in the conference, and you end up being a 4th seed instead of 1st seed. You know what I mean? So, but give Dallas credit. They came out and played. They executed on all cylinders. Micah Parsons had a big game. The defense showed out. They held Minnesota to 3 points in their stadium, and it's crazy because Minnesota has Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. Yep. Justin Jefferson could quite possibly be the best receiver in the league. But give Tony Pollard credit, give Dak Prescott credit, give that offense credit. They balled out. 40-3 win. That's just a dominant game on both sides of the ball. If the Cowboys can play like this every single week, they definitely have a chance to make some noise in the NFC and possibly get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Dallas, good performance, right? Bengals, good performance. Raiders winning on the walk-off TD. And if you guys think we harp on Broncos fans too much, just check out Melvin Gordon's Twitter or his Instagram. He was recently waived, and he even said that Broncos fans suck. So Broncos fans, not good. But enough about that. Lastly, we saw a classic division battle, right, between the Chiefs and the Chargers, like it normally goes. It went down to the wire, and yet again, the Chiefs getting the better of the Chargers. Did we learn anything from Sunday night?
I think we just learned that the Chargers are just the Chargers, and they have so many times and opportunities to put away the Chiefs and their divisional opponents, just like in that game against the Raiders last year, where they were just going to let it be a tie game. Just the Chargers are just the Chargers.
True.
And, I have a good buddy of mine who's a Charger fan, and I don't even know what to say about them. Like, they're just, Herbert's a good quarterback. It's just like at the end of the day, when everything's on the line, they just kind of like forget what's going on, I guess.
Yeah. The Chargers, best way you could say it, Chargers are going to be the Chargers. That's why I was thinking about this game. I had no idea what to ask you, because the Chargers performed like the Chargers typically do. Chiefs performed like they typically do. Travis Kelce, easily first ballot Hall of Famer, easily probably top 5 best tight ends of all time.
I think the greatest of all time.
Arguably, I was going to say arguably top 3, easily could be the greatest tight end of all time. just one of the best weapons you could ever ask for, honestly, as a quarterback. So, I mean, beside him and Gronk, I mean, those two tight ends, man, they 1A and 1B, you could argue. But yeah, I don't think we learned anything new.
That's true.
Yeah, Chargers, going to be the Chargers. I don't know. I have high hopes for the Chargers, and then they just do all that stuff. So, I mean, the Chargers are just like the most like mediocre, just organizational franchise in the history of sports, I guess. So the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego will always be the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. And that is going to do it for this edition of Meat on the 50, right? We hope you have enjoyed. And as always, we're leading into Thanksgiving. So of course, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We want to thank you for taking the time, as always, for viewing our videos, for watching our videos, for just out of your day, taking the time, for watching us, listening to us, however you intake our content. Brandon and I want to thank you very, very much. Whether you're a new viewer, old viewer, what have you, we're glad you keep coming back for more. So we hope you keep coming back for more. So keep on coming back. But again, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. And we are excited to do this. But Brandon, any last words for the people?
Hey, you and I combined 20-8 dominant week.
Yeah.
As far as with our picks, we knew it would happen at some point. We knew, the consistency was going to come. So
yeah,
still trying to get that perfect week. Once I do that, I'm taking my talents to probably to Reno, because Vegas is too far, and
there you go.
Put down a parlay. And
I like it.
We're looking for that perfect week. So I'm hoping maybe next week that can be the week.
Yep. I like it, and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about all the action leading into Thanksgiving, and of course, right, happy Thanksgiving, Brandon. Thank you for joining me week in and week out, right? I know we have a lot of fun doing this, and we enjoy doing this. We talk off this podcast about sports all the time, so this is just a fun way for us to talk about sports. So always, thank you for joining me. Thank you for doing this with me, and I hope you know that, yes, I give you a hard time sometimes, but I do love you. So, it's great to do this, and we love all of you, and we are happy to do this week in and week out. So remember, you can check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, but as always, do us a favor. If you like what you see, just smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, just tap on that bell notification. That way, anytime new content drops, you're right there to consume, because we're dropping content all season long. That is going to do it for, I guess, our Thanksgiving edition of Meat on the 50. And as always, that is one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan, and Brandon and I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And Brandon and Jake are